Hello, Leo, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot. My name is Laura, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of May 2022. Leo, I hope you're all doing well. I'm very excited to take a look at May and see what kind of energy might be coming up for you. This reading will be for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And as always, before we get started, just a reminder, these readings are general in nature, so not all of the information that comes through will pertain to you necessarily. So definitely take anything and everything that does resonate for you, however that applies to your specific situation. Keep an open mind to anything that might be helpful as you move through the month, and simply leave the rest if it doesn't apply. And another little disclaimer before we get started, I'm tweaking my format a little bit this month, pulling less cards in the hopes that the videos will be a little bit shorter than usual. So far they have been quite long still, not as long, but it doesn't seem to matter how many cards I pull. There's still a lot of information that comes through. So I'm doing my best, but April has been a really incredibly busy and hectic month. I've had a lot on my plate. There's been a lot going on. And my energy was not great for the majority of the month. I'm feeling a lot better now. I was actually at a point where I was considering not doing readings for May, but I really do enjoy it, and I really wanted to do this. So I decided that maybe tweaking the format, trying to reduce the length of the video might make it easier for me to prepare and record and post all 12 readings for this month. So I've got one oracle card for you. We will pull some tarot. I'll get you a couple of affirmations, and I'll pull a second oracle at the very end, which instead of openly interpreting as I do with the first card, I'm going to read directly from the guidebook, and we'll see what kind of detail and clarity that might provide and how it might help kind of tie the reading together. So I will start as always with your channeled messages. So technically when I'm reading the cards, I am channeling information and messages, but I like to take a moment at the beginning of the reading to connect with your energy before I get your oracle card or any other card, and to try and channel information without any type of visual cues, just to see what comes through out of curiosity and just for fun. So I'll share those messages with you first. And I decided to cap the channeled messages this month at 5, just for the sake of brevity. So consider it a top 5, if you will. Top 5 things that came through. So before I jump specifically into your channeled messages, I will just kind of let you in on the general energy and the impressions that I was picking up on for you, Leo, for May. So I have to say, very different than all the readings to date. So I've read for all of the earth signs and air signs. You're the first fire sign that I'm reading for. And this was like a very calm, very grounded, very focused kind of energy. And it felt very much like, just getting down to business, doing what needs to be done. Not a whole lot of thought, analysis, not even a whole lot of effort necessarily needing to go into this. Not a lot of feeling. It's really just is kind of like a very focused and efficient energy. And what it kind of brought to mind is like when you get into the flow of doing something. So it's like when you get into a state of flow, it's kind of like tapping into your skills, your ability, your awareness, and almost being like on autopilot, but in a good way. So it's like you're aware of and taking everything in, but you're not having to really work too hard, and things are just flowing, moving easily. Things are falling into place, and it's kind of like a very efficient way to accomplish things. So yeah, it felt easy. It felt like things were flowing. There wasn't a huge amount of overthinking, and I didn't sense much in the way of resistance. So either resistance internally in terms of like resistance to your situation, experiences, feelings, or anything, and also external resistance. So any resistance that might be coming to you in the form of like challenges, external circumstances, other people. I didn't get a lot of that. It just kind of felt like flowing. So that was good. And I kind of got the sense of just like, yeah, going with the flow, doing what you need to do, and letting things go as they will and unfold as they're meant to. So I really like that energy for you. It might be something that you're already connecting with, or it might be something that you're coming into this month. And if that's something that resonates for you or even sounds enticing for you, it might be something that to be mindful of as you move through the month of May. It might help you kind of get the most out of it. So for your channeled messages specifically, the first message that came through was no more fake friends. And along with that, I got like fake behavior. So like acting fake, saying fake things. So it's people in your space that are doing that. And it's kind of like paying lip service or pretending to like someone, pretending to be nice, pretending to act or feel or, say things that you don't really identify with. And it's also people that exhibit that behavior. So the people that you don't necessarily connect with on a deeper, more authentic level, or that you don't necessarily align with, it's like acknowledging when you know that someone's like blowing smoke up your ass, Um, and focus on authenticity. So representing yourself in a kind and fair and authentic way, and allowing others to do the same, and recognizing that you're not always going to mesh with everyone that you come across. You're not always going to connect deeply with those people. There are going to be people that trigger you or that you just downright don't like. And it's like not being fake to try and be liked, and to try and avoid people that are like are fake, right? So it's like not entertaining friendships with people that you don't agree with just for the sake of fitting into like a group or being liked by a specific person, because like that pressure ends up resulting in a lot of shady behavior that, it's not doing yourself any justice, and it's also not doing justice to the people around you. So first and foremost, I will say, if this is something that you're guilty of, that's okay. It's something just to work through, but it's recognizing that the people that you don't like or you don't align with, or specifically that trigger you, there's a reason for that. And that has everything to do with your personal experience, your feelings, your thoughts and perceptions, and the healing that you're meant to do. So it has everything to do with your relationship to yourself. It's not about them. So it can be easy to focus on other people and the fact that we don't like them, and to feel like we need to take action either to defend ourselves, protect ourselves, put ourselves above them, knock them down. Maybe like you don't like them and you don't want other people to like them kind of energy. And it's recognizing that you don't need to take action on those types of people and those types of interactions that don't sit well with you. Like, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to influence anyone else, because everybody's got their own unique path. We come into each other's lives for a reason. The people who get along naturally will get along naturally, and the people who don't will inevitably kind of be repelled from each other. And there's no need to take it a step further. It's just kind of like let bygones be bygones, agree to disagree, let those people go on their way, because whatever you're feeling in terms of resistance to them that would cause you to take action toward them in a way that's not necessarily doing you justice, and not necessarily, it could potentially be harmful to either or both of you. It's recognizing that energy should really just be focused inward, in terms of seeing like, what am I reacting to? What am I feeling? What don't I like? And what does that tell me about myself? And maybe something I need to work on. So for example, like if someone makes you feel insecure, like that's not their problem. That insecurity is something that's within you, attached to your experience, is something that you need to heal. And it's just like an opportunity for your personal empowerment. So it's like we are taking responsibility for how we feel and what we need to do, and not projecting outwards. And vice versa, like in relationships, we're not going to let people make us feel small or project their inadequacies onto us, or to try and, lash out at us as a result for the things that they don't like about us that are simply a reflection of their own dislikes about themselves. We're not going to entertain that. We're not going to participate in like a fake encounter because you don't need to take action on it. You can just, you can be cordial and polite and friendly. You can let the people who get along really naturally get along, and you don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to be liked. It is totally fine to just kind of let that energy be and just focus on you, and then focus on the things that you do like. So yeah, we're putting an end to any kind of fake behavior, because ultimately that's going to bring you closer to the people that you align with, and it's going to help you do the work that you need to do, and vice versa. Those people that are trying to engage with you in a fake way, they have their own work to do. So it's like, you don't need to be mixing yourself in with their drama if that's the case. The second message that came through is, it's okay not to be okay. So if you're having a tough time, if you've been experiencing a lot of challenges, if you're feeling down on an emotional level, stuck or stagnant, if you're feeling like particularly self-critical, whatever the case may be, any kind of challenge that you might be having, or that you might have had that has impacted you in a way that's got you feeling like it's not okay, that's totally fine. We're always going to experience like highs and lows in life, and everything balances out, and we kind of just have to honor where we're at and what we're experiencing. So And I didn't get the sense that there's necessarily resistance, but it might be a hesitance to like let other people know that you're not feeling okay, or to get help or support from other people. It's okay to not always be at your best. Don't worry if you hear anything in the background. My baby is awake and my husband is helping take care of her. So there might be some like strange background noises. There's not a lot of soundproofing in this house. Um, so where was I? But yeah, so it's like, it's totally okay. It's totally okay, and it's okay to do things that are maybe out of character for you because you're not in the greatest place. It's like, we really, all we can do is the best that we can at any given time. And you don't have to put on like a brave face. You don't have to pretend like everything's fine. You don't have to like paint a pretty picture to make other people feel comfortable if you're in a position where things are just like not okay. Like you don't have to share that with other people, but you don't have to feel shameful, and you don't have to worry about meeting their expectations or pleasing them if you're in a spot where it's like you really just can't do that. Like that is okay. So just a little grace for yourself, I would say. And it's okay for other people not to be okay too, right? We don't want to project expectations on other people because like we don't know what's going on in everyone else's lives. So, we're all just doing the best we can. At least that's the hope, right? And then the next message that came through was it ended up being for the best. And so this is a sense of perhaps something that happened that you were disappointed by, perhaps it could be something that happened to you or that you did or that was imposed on you, or something that you observed in relation to someone else or some kind of external situation. Maybe something that you had a strong feeling about or a strong opinion on, maybe some kind of like resistance or judgment related to it that you were kind of like, maybe like not pleased with it, or you had a certain perspective on it. And this is like kind of having some time and distance from it and seeing how things have unfolded since then, and realizing that like it ended up being for the best. Like things worked out as they were supposed to. Initially, I didn't like this situation, or I didn't like this person, or I didn't like that this happened. I felt like it was negative, and like there was resistance to it, but then it's seeing like, wow, actually like that was a major saving grace, or like it's a good thing that worked out because whatever. So it's kind of seeing how things have worked out either in your favor or, whatever that specific situation is, whoever's involved and whoever it pertains to. It's like seeing that like, okay, yeah, this is what's best for everyone, right? So it's kind of like being able to release whatever that might be for you and move forward and recognize that like, things unfold as they should, I suppose. The fourth message that came through for you was alleviating stress. So if you are someone that experiences a lot of stress or anxiety, if you have a lot of responsibility, if you've got a lot on your plate, either like work, family, friends, home, whatever the case may be, it's recognizing that obviously experiencing stress is kind of an inevitable part of life, but it doesn't have to be like paralyzing. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to settle for like a huge amount of stress. So it's recognizing that, of course, some things may feel as though they're out of your control or they're imposed on you, but also recognizing that there are things that you can do that are within your power to try and alleviate some of that stress. So it's recognizing the situations where you can make your life a little bit easier, perhaps tasks or responsibilities that you can delegate or push off or eliminate altogether. And just like kind of taking care of yourself so that you're not exhausting yourself, and using your precious resources to stress, as opposed to being able to make that energy work for you in terms of accomplishing what you need to do. So you might feel like you don't have a lot of control, but it's like important to find the control that you do have over your perceptions, your beliefs, how you decide to approach stress or responsibilities or the things that you find to be difficult, and do what you can for yourself, because that's your responsibility. You owe it to yourself. And then finally, your last message was my self-reflection. So I got that in two ways. So it's like awareness that self-reflection is something that's important, like taking time to maybe shut off from the world around us, from technology, from other people, to sit with ourselves, to kind of check in and see where our emotions are, where our mental state is, how we're feeling, what our predominant like self-talk is like, and if that is a true reflection of what we want for ourselves. how we feel about other people and about our situations in life. So doing like a really good check-in and recognizing that that's an important, like regular kind of habit to have or ritual to have. And then it's not just in terms of like taking time for self-reflection and developing that awareness and being able to like know where you need to like what your strengths are and using them, and like what weaknesses you're working to develop and trying to balance things out. But I also got this in the sense of like your literal self-reflection, like how you perceive yourself. And so I will say, I don't want to like trigger anyone, but I will say like the first thing that came to mind in terms of reflection in a mirror was body dysmorphia. So body image issues are obviously like really super prevalent among like males, females, however you identify. So I think it's important to recognize that like with society, there are a lot of, and social media, there's a lot of expectations, there are a lot of pressures that we feel, and it can be really toxic and it can be really deeply ingrained in us to the point where we don't necessarily realize we're doing it to ourselves. So I think in terms of your reflection, it's also important to see like, how do you look at yourself? How do you view yourself? What are you saying to yourself about who you are as a person, how you act, how you feel, and also your body, how your body looks, how you fuel yourself, right? And just kind of trying to interrupt any like critical thoughts. Yeah, because I got the sense that that might be a struggle. It's like putting a lot of value on physical body, physical appearance, attractiveness, fitness, health, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, obviously we want to be taking care of ourselves and feeling good and looking good, but we don't want that to come at the expense of our overall well-being, our emotional health, our mental health, and our spiritual health. So it's making sure that the investments that you're making in your physical appearance are coming from a place of self-love, self-care, empowerment, and trying to kind of rein in any maybe like more destructive, unhealthy or critical perceptions or like behaviors that are motivated by like fear or lack, if that makes sense to you. So there we go. Okay, Leo, so your oracle card for this month is Happy, which I always love to see this card. This actually came out for Gemini as well. So perhaps you are connected to a Gemini in some way. Maybe you have Gemini in your chart. Yeah, maybe that's just a happy little coincidence. So yeah, Leo, this month, it's really just about you and your happiness, your joy, your contentment. And first and foremost, this is about learning how to be happy with things as they are right now. Being happy where you are with what you have. And the thing is, like, happiness is a conscious and intentional thing. It's a choice that we have to make, right? Because we can set any number of limits on what happiness will look like, what happiness will feel like, the conditions that we need to meet in order to be happy or feel happy. And the thing is, like, we can set those expectations and those conditions and we can meet them and not connect with happiness at all in the process or in the aftermath of like achieving whatever those standards are. And so it's important to recognize that no amount of anything that you do or achieve or, obtain in this life will guarantee you happiness. The only way that you can connect with happiness is by intentionally deciding to be happy and deciding to focus on like the things that you're grateful for, the abundance that you have in your life, the love that you have in your life, and allowing those things to impact you. Because a lot of times we can overlook the value of the things that we already have, because we are focused on the future. We're focused on manifesting more. We're focused on becoming more. And so it's kind of like we think, oh, well, it doesn't serve us to be happy right now and to be okay with where we're at, because if we're okay with where we're at, we're never going to grow. And it's actually, that's almost like a really subtle way of self-sabotage, because if you're never allowed to enjoy what you have and where you're at and what you've done to date, how are you supposed to ever experience happiness in the future? Like, if you can't have it now, when will it ever be okay to have it, right? So it's recognizing that taking that time to be happy and being happy with even just the most simple things, right? The most simple pleasures and joy in life. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be a major goal, although it is important to take a look at the major things that we have accomplished, right? And to celebrate those, to experience joy, and to connect with others in a happy, playful, joyous way. This is also like silliness, right? So connecting with that energy, giving ourselves a break from the grind and the stress and the expectations of like always being productive, always achieving, always like kind of hitting that next goal, right? And it's like, oh, that's the end goal, to be happy. But half of the time we just end up working for happiness, and we just never get it. And it's like, well, I'm doing all the right things and I've done all this stuff. Like, why am I not happy? As though it's something that's just like bestowed upon us from some external being or force because we've like checked all the boxes. And it's like, happiness is you. It's your natural state. It's a part of you, and it has everything to do with the things that you love and appreciate in life. And those that will look different for everyone, right? So it's about allowing yourself to connect with it now, because if you connect to, experience, and appreciate it, the more gratitude you have, the more you recognize your blessings and abundance and allow yourself to genuinely connect with that on an emotional level and to benefit from it. That's only going to fortify your strength. It's only going to fortify your focus and your fire to keep going and to keep moving in a positive direction, right? Because if you can be happy right here, right now, that is a superpower, because there's no limit to how happy you can be, right? The only limitations on happiness are the ones that you put on yourself. And of course, like, I don't want to oversimplify and say that, like, you have to be happy all day, every day, even in the most like dark of times, right? Because we're not always going to be able to connect easily with happiness. But it is like a constant choice that we have to make. It's something that we have to consistently practice. Just like you would meditate, like have a meditation practice. Happiness is like, it's something that you have to practice. It's something you have to learn to do almost. And while you're not going to be able to make every situation happy, you are going to be able to kind of sustain a base level of happiness with yourself, with what you have, and like have that kind of like safe space to come back to, regardless of what you encounter in your external world and your experiences and what challenges you come across and losses. So it's like to have that internal connection to, awareness of, and willingness to experience happiness and joy and fun and play. That's kind of what helps you to be resilient, right? And that's what you can kind of come back to when you need to regroup, instead of allowing your spirit to be broken when things are really tough, which inevitably we're all going to have those experiences in life, right? So now it's basically like the sun is shining on you. Now is the time to enjoy whatever you enjoy. Lean into it. The beauty of life that is already here, like, just connect with it, right? Whatever that looks like to you, because that is going to be most beneficial to you. It's going to help you experience whatever you need to experience over the course of the month. And like, even if it feels like it's not productive or it's not serving you or you're not accomplishing anything, it's recognizing that perhaps connecting with that energy and experiencing that happiness and allowing yourself to just take a step back from your goals and all of the other stuff that would normally occupy your time and your space, could very well end up recharging you, reinvigorating you, motivating you, giving you a new approach or a new perspective on the very things that you're trying to accomplish, right? Like, sometimes rest and celebration is the very thing that kind of helps us. Oh my gosh, whole bunch of cards popped out. Bear with me here. But yeah, sometimes that's the very thing that kind of like helps things move along, especially if we're feeling like stuff is particularly stagnant, right? So hold on, I'm just collecting these cards off the floor. My gosh, there's so many of them. Sorry, Leo. Got a little excited over here. Okay, let's get these back in the deck. But yeah, so sometimes it's allowing yourself to experience that kind of helps the door open, especially if there's something you've been working really hard to achieve and it's not yet kind of like manifesting. Sometimes you need to take space from it to to have a renewed approach, right? So it's like, even like, sometimes you'll be facing a problem and then it's like sleep on it and the next morning you have a totally different perspective, or it just comes to you once you take the pressure off of yourself. It's similar kind of vibe with this. So don't hesitate to allow yourself to participate in joy and happiness, connection to others, in your relationships and social settings, and like not letting any kind of like drama or pettiness or insecurity or any of the like difficult stuff that you're working through taint your happiness, taint your ability to feel happy with yourself, to be happy for other people. This is like across the board. Good stuff. Okay, so your first tarot card is the Ace of Swords. Let's see. Your second card, you got two that came out for your second placement. So I'll include both of those. So you've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. Here I was hoping I was going to be able to keep this brief, but anytime two cards come up for one placement, it's always a lot of extra stuff. Okay, so your third card, technically your third placement, is the Fool, which I really like. And then finally, you've got the Hermit. And at the bottom of the deck is the Page of Cups. So he's trying to float away. Okay. So the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck is like the underlying energy kind of influencing this month's vibes progression. So the Page of Cups is about daring to dream, like daydreaming. Allow yourself to consider all the opportunities for love, joy, happiness, fulfillment, abundance, those things that are going to fill your cup and make you feel as though you're living a connected, meaningful life, having meaningful interactions and relationships, doing meaningful work, whatever that looks like for you in whatever area of life that might be reflected. It's like recognizing that there is unlimited potential, unlimited opportunities, and allowing yourself to just kind of daydream and think like, if life is okay now and I can be happy now, like how much better can it be? Or how do I connect with even more? Like, where do you draw the line, right? And it's basically saying if you need to draw a line, then you are limiting yourself, right? Because you can only daydream like so much. And like even with a massive imagination, there are still so many opportunities, so many ways that things could happen and unfold that you couldn't even possibly dream about. And so it's kind of like being willing to let yourself be open-minded and dare to dream, because even your wildest dreams might be outdone by the way that life can unfold. Like the life can surprise you, the universe can surprise you, right? Because this is the When Pigs Can Fly card. So even something that seems unrealistic or unlikely, it's kind of like if you decide that it's unrealistic or unlikely, then that's what you're going to think. And that's ultimately going to reflect the decisions that you make, how you approach your life, and what you can experience. So it's like what you believe to be true is. And this is like also fighting this like daydreamy, creative kind of nature, because people often think of it as being like not impractical or not grounded. But this is like being perfectly grounded and capable of like, capable of taking action in the real world, having a good head on your shoulders, but acknowledging that there's a lot of opportunity, inspiration, creativity that can come from this like upper realm of possibility. And that is where dreams are made, right? That's where we become inspired. And if we're inspired by big dreams, and that influences us emotionally, then we can take action on that. And when we take action in the physical world, we are in the process of taking this vision that's in our heads, even if it seems unrealistic, and taking steps that are inevitably going to help that be reflected in our external circumstances. So it's kind of like a card of connecting to your heart, the possibilities that make you feel happy, visualizing and connecting to that on an emotional level, and allowing yourself to be moved by that and to take action in the world around you. And you might be surprised what kind of connection that might breed, not only with yourself, but with other people, and what kind of, and how that might be reflected in your physical experience. And it could be in a very grounded, practical way, even if the idea is really out there, right? Half of the stuff that we experience today and the inventions that we have today were not necessarily practical, right? They weren't necessarily realistic ideas, right? It's the people who dare to dream and to take action on those goals because they have some kind of inherent investment and they're motivated to see it through. That's how most of our inventions have come to be, right? So it can seem unrealistic, but it can also be very practical and grounded. So that's kind of the energy that's influencing that. However that applies to you, it will be very unique to you. But I find that to be very interesting. So you are being encouraged to come into this month willing to connect with new information, new perspectives. So it could be like new ways of analyzing data, new ways of seeing the world, new perspectives, new beliefs. Being open to having new types of experiences, being educated on new topics. So it's kind of like acknowledging that you might have a certain way of doing something or a certain belief, or you might have learned things a certain way, and sure, that could be serving you now, but there's always the opportunity to connect with something new. So you might connect with somebody who has a new perspective on something that ultimately it might seem a little bit out there. But if you allow yourself to drop your ego and your resistance to what you already know and do, you might find that it is beneficial to you in some way. So you don't have to subscribe to what other people are saying or doing or what they believe in, but there's still the opportunity for you to be changed by it. And you might be able to adapt your own approach in a way that ultimately will be more beneficial to you. As a result of being open to new perspectives, right? So it's like you don't have to compromise yourself and your personal truth and what works for you, but you can pick a lot of little tricks and tips for your own life from like the examples that people set for you, right? And this is also highlighting the power of the mind. So there is an opportunity for new information, new perspective, new belief, new awareness, to kind of like set you on a new path or help you connect with maybe happiness or new opportunities. But it's recognizing that the mind is a powerful thing and we have to be aware of how we use our mental energy, right? Because we can very easily get caught in negative feedback loops where we begin to overanalyze and ruminate. And then we've got these kind of like fears and limiting beliefs that creep in, and we can spiral downward and like talk ourselves out of the things that are good for us because we're trying to logically or rationally analyze it based on a set of beliefs or understanding that don't necessarily support our highest good. It might not be ours. They might be things that have been conditioned, right? So it's like the mind is very powerful in the sense that we can believe things that aren't true, and that can really take us down a bad path. But it can also be like a stairwell, like upward, like to ascension, to enlightenment and awareness. So our thoughts have immense power to transform us, what we believe, and how we show up in the world, for better or for worse. And it's up to us to remain open to the experiences that we have, but also to kind of keep ourselves in check, right? So to really kind of weigh, like, at the end of the day, the way that we're perceiving the world, the information that we're connecting with, the way that we're judging ourselves and others, logically, rationally, all that kind of stuff. It's like, is it really true to us? Does it ring true for us? Does it feel right? Or is it kind of connected to fear or, an expectation of something that you should do? Is it holding you back or is it empowering you to be better? So it's kind of connecting with this like powerful tool that you've got in your head and how much that can influence how you perceive the world around you, right? So it's like quite often the things around us don't change. It's our perception and belief, and our perception and belief can be swayed by things that are not necessarily true for us, right? So it's like we want to be discerning about what we accept and what we focus on, right? So that's important. So I think that's a very empowering energy for you to be in, is like kind of taking stock of how you perceive yourself and the world. Your challenge for this month is funny because it's showing up as the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles is very much in alignment with that energy that I was picking up on in terms of like, just being focused, putting your head down, getting the work done, kind of being in flow. because the Eight of Pentacles is a very practical, hardworking energy. It's being focused on what you need to do, taking the small, consistent steps that you need to each day that you would do in terms of like either developing a new skill, maybe if you're in a new job. It's practice, right? It's consistent practice that allows you to over time become a master of whatever it is that you're doing. And it is Pentacles, a practical energy. So this could very well relate to something practical and hands-on. It could be art. It could be, specific to your work. It could have to do with your finances, your money. So it's basically like channeling your focus into doing what needs to be done to get to where you want to be, right? So it's like, it's not just going to happen for you. You have to work at it and you have to be consistent. But it's also like recognizing that those small, consistent steps to master your trade or your skill or whatever it is that you're currently working on. It might feel like a long haul and it might take a long time, but ultimately it's an investment in yourself and it's going to pay off, right? So it's a very studious kind of like energy, and it's development. This could also be your personal development as well. So you might be someone who's very focused on work, very focused on the practical side of life, like building your foundation, amassing your financial resources, your material resources, throwing yourself into your work. And it's recognizing that is beneficial, but also like the practical, grounded side of life is not all there is. So you can still focus on developing those skills and this like practical foundation and getting ahead in a material sense in life, but also connecting to your passion and your inspiration, because the Three of Wands is all about your creativity, your passion, the things that light you up, that make you feel enthusiastic and excited. And the Three is about like being on a path. It can be also a self-discovery. So this could be related to a hobby, a career. This could be like personal development. But it's kind of like being on a path of like stepping into your authenticity, your self-expression, allowing more room for creativity in your life. And but it's like you're at the beginning of the journey. So you might have already decided that this is something that you want to do. It could be a specific endeavor. But however that applies to you, and it could be connected to this thing that you're practically working on, right? That you're trying to kind of stabilize and master. So it's important, like, you have to allow room for your passion and creativity. Like, so it can't be all work and no play, right? And it's about injecting enthusiasm and passion for a life and the things that are important to you into your daily grind, so that it's not like wearing you down. And this is also a sense of like kind of being on the path where it's like you're moving in a certain direction, and it's like you've taken some action and it's starting to see your ships coming in, or waiting for your ships to come in, right? And so it's kind of like you almost need to start seeing the benefit of doing whatever it is that you're doing, and like following your heart and your authenticity and your passions to see that, like, is this really worthwhile? Is this what's right for me? So you could be waiting for confirmation. And I think it's important to like, this is coming up as the challenge. So it might be a challenge to balance these energies. So the creative, passionate side of you that wants to adventure and explore and like just experience life in a more passionate way. And then the part of you that's like, but I have to buckle down and work, and I've got to be really careful with my finances. And like, I need, it's like house, marriage, baby. And it could be the pressures that you put on yourself in terms of your physical reality, your material abundance, the work that you're doing, and what you're trying to build, and not becoming so obsessed with that you're actually blocking yourself in and keeping yourself from expressing this like creative side, because you can do both. And this happy card, it's like, this is what you're trying to bring into balance, because the challenge might be these kind of competing energies, and earth and fire can be really difficult to bring together. So your recommended approach to kind of balancing out this energy goes really nicely with this happy, like allowing yourself to be happy where you are, appreciate what you have, and to connect more deeply with your heart, right? And your dreams, because the Fool is being at the beginning of a journey, being willing to step off in a new direction, perhaps undertaking a new venture. It could be like a new hobby, a new relationship. It could be moving, but it's like, it's something new that you're looking to experience and to be changed by. And it doesn't necessarily make sense on paper. This is very much an intuitively heart-centered journey. It very much is about what makes you feel emotionally fulfilled and what like lights your fire, right? And allows you to kind of express your creativity, express yourself, step deeper into your authenticity, as opposed to like just like nose to the grindstone, checking all the boxes kind of thing. And so this can be like stepping out into the unknown, because if you've been a very logical, practical person, or if you've really been focusing on mastering one thing and you don't feel like it's beneficial for you to step more into your emotional fulfillment or creative expression and fulfillment, then it can feel really difficult. But it's basically trusting your own inner compass, trusting your intuition and your awareness, and knowing that making those investments in yourself, the things that make you feel happy, the things that inspire you, that even if you don't know what that looks like right now, even if you don't know how it's going to unfold for you, it's trusting that you feel that way for a reason. You're drawn to those things for a reason. And if you allow yourself to lean into it, you're going to have exactly the types of experiences that you need to have, because it's just about you as an individual. It's not about checking all the boxes or being a perfect human or following all the rules, right? Like, this is very much about you. And recognizing that taking a leap of faith into the unknown can be scary, right? But once you take that first step, you realize that you have everything that you need to navigate, right? If you're connected to your intuition, you're connected to your awareness, if you can balance out all of your skills, your perception, your analysis, your rational brain, your emotions and intuition, your passion and your creativity, your ability to take practical action in the world and to provide for yourself and others, in the most basic material way, then it's like you can navigate whatever comes your way. And so stepping off on a path that is going to be uniquely yours is not only going to benefit you in terms of giving you opportunities for growth that are specific to you, but to infuse more opportunities for happiness and to allow happiness to guide you and to have a place in your life right now, as opposed to it being a destination that you are slaving away to try and create, or something that you're trying to master in a practical sense, when really it's just something that you connect with in your heart, right? As cheesy as that sounds. So yeah, so it's basically like allowing yourself to step off on a new path in a new direction, and trusting that step by step you are going to have the clarity that you need, and you have the resources that you require. The things that you need will come in, and it's just about being true to yourself and aligning with yourself, and knowing that like it's okay not to know what the end goal looks like, because allowing yourself to be here now and to be motivated by happiness and joy and connected to what that looks like and feels like for you is really just going to help you navigate step by step, right? And that, I think that's the most important thing. And the highest possible outcome, given this energy, like moving through this for this month, comes out as the Hermit, which is kind of like a newfound level of enlightenment, awareness, connection to, acceptance of, and a willingness to be guided by your own internal wisdom, right? So this could be there's so many different ways of acknowledging it. So it's like it could be your highest self, right? Like your highest possible outcome, your truth, your heart's desire, like your soul's journey, the things that are the most important to you. It's like your own unique blueprint for who you want to be, what you're meant to experience in this life, to allow you to be your best, right? And so it's kind of like that is all within you. And it really just takes being shaped and changed by the experiences in your life to allow you to get closer to yourself, to take that time to reflect, to take that time to be changed, to get clarity on, okay, I had this experience and this is how I feel. Not great, not what I want. How do I move in a different direction? Or what kind of clarity does that give me on what it is that I do want, and how do I take steps to move toward it? So it can be a very practical energy. This is your own inner wisdom and guidance, your internal compass. And allowing yourself to start acknowledging that that's a thing, it's a real thing, it's something that you can connect with, it's something that can inspire you and guide you and that you can take action on. Allowing yourself to step into that energy really just makes it it just starts to strengthen your ability to do that, to connect with your intuition, to connect with your inner wisdom. And the more that you do it and the more that you're aware of it and you honor it. So it's one thing to know what's right for you. It's another thing to do it, because the doing and the follow through and the commitment to moving along your path, it's not always easy. Right? And sometimes it requires us to be really brutally honest with ourselves. Sometimes it's really painful. And sometimes we have to really fight to work through things that almost feel like they're designed to break us. Right? And so it's only through, that's all happening for your soul's growth. Right? And the more that you honor yourself and just trudge through the stuff that is ultimately going to strengthen you and help you become more aware of what this inner light is that's longing to be, I guess, exposed or longing to impact your life, the more that you trust yourself. So you trust yourself to be aware of it. You trust yourself to understand it. You trust that you'll know when to take action and what action to take. So even if you don't know 5 steps ahead, you'll trust that, like, in the right time, in the right circumstances, you're going to know what's right for you. The more that you do it, the stronger it becomes, the more that you trust yourself, and the easier it is to just kind of flow with life, and to connect with happiness, and to allow yourself to kind of have that internal well of happiness that's going to be consistent even when the outside is dark and gloomy or things are unclear, right? So it's kind of like having a bigger picture view, and connecting to a lot of like wisdom. And this can also be a card of isolation. So it might mean that you need to take time to isolate. Maybe you need to cut yourself off from other people. Maybe you need to be more intentional about the people that you surround yourself with, the energy that you are receiving from other people. Because it's kind of like removing all the other distractions and all the other noise so that you can focus on what works best for you. And quite honestly, like, it's almost necessary to have periods of being the hermit throughout life, even on like throughout the year, right? There are times that you need to be able to retreat to that space where you can sit in quiet awareness and figure out what it is that your soul is trying to tell you, what it is that makes the most sense for you in terms of your next step. So I think that's really lovely. It's really encouraging. Because I think you need to know that you have the power. Like, you don't have to follow someone else's recipe for success. And especially if there's something external to you that's putting pressure on you and making you feel like metrics, like you got metrics for success. It's like, do you care about those metrics? Are they your metrics? Because if not, I don't want to like lead anyone astray. You know what's right for you ultimately. But if you don't connect with it and it doesn't make sense to you, I don't know that that's the most beneficial guidance for you to be following or marker for success. Right, so for your affirmations, I make time to recharge my battery. The world needs my energetic light. That is exactly what this hermit is doing, right? Taking time in silence, disconnecting, taking time to reflect, see where you're at, what you need, what you can do for yourself, prioritizing yourself and self-care, being aware of what it is that's right for you, so that this light that you have inside of you that's guiding you and helping you on a path of your highest good, if you are able to connect to and honor it, also allows you to set a positive and beautiful example for other people to do the same. And inevitably, you're sharing that light, that happiness, that freedom to be you with other people, and it can inspire them to do the same. The moment I begin to celebrate myself and focus on my successes is the moment I begin living. Yeah. So how do you measure success? Is success something that you're able to achieve based on the metrics that you've put in place or that other people have put in place for you? Does it have anything to do with you, your personal growth, what you've done, what you've achieved, the happiness and the abundance that's available for you now, and being moved by that in a positive way instead of feeling lack as though you have to achieve a certain thing to create the conditions for happiness, right? So it's like, live now. Let yourself be happy now. That's only going to help you get to wherever you want to get and to experience more success. Okay, so we're going to get your final oracle card, which is from the Crystal Spirits Oracle, which I will read directly from the guidebook. Oh, I really like this. So you've got citrine. Oh, funny enough, 2 and 6 makes 8, 1 and 7 makes 8. So these oracle cards are both 8. So 8 might be a significant number for you. Perhaps the month of August might be a significant month. Obviously, Leos, there are a lot of Leos born in August. Something to keep in mind. Okay, so I am going to read you the details for citrine. And actually, this is a citrine right here. I feel like somebody else had this. Maybe Virgo. I don't know. All right. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I have no idea. Anyways, so it's joyful expressiveness, exuberance, and happiness, letting go of any and all negativity. So it's kind of like freedom. Start again. Now is the time for you to be you and to experience the tremendous joy available to you. With all the hard work you do to overcome your old patterns, heal the wounds of the past, and forgive yourself and others as you walk the healing path, you might find that you have forgotten how to just have fun and laugh. Be happy today. Citrine Spirit is here to amplify the joy in your life, so feel it and express it as if you are broadcasting it to the entire planet, because you are. However serious life may feel, the conscious universe really wants all of us to have fun, so you are doing your important work when you exuberantly share your joy with the world. Make time for playfulness and joy today. I don't think there could be a better oracle card to match this happy energy. There's a relationship message. In our relationships, we work to build foundations of love and trust. The one way to do that is through simply spending time together having fun. Do something with someone else, some activity that you enjoy or that neither of you have tried before, that will make your hearts happy. Being adventurous can be fun, even if the experience doesn't turn out quite as you expected and the rain insists on falling on your parade. Intend to find something funny and positive in whatever you do with others today, and joy will be your gift, magnified by the power of Citrine Spirit. Remember, your joy encourages and inspires others to let go of their sadness and cynicism, so don't hold back. Radiate happiness. And then prosperity message. To prosper is to thrive and flourish, and choosing to be joyful can take us out of the doldrums of our everyday tasks and into pleasure and happiness. Even if you have financial obligations to attend to today and you're not looking forward to the chore, bring a sense of fun to the table. You are building your wealth and engaging in the flow of abundance in the universal consciousness. Joyful enthusiasm can help you discover new ways to invest in expanding your wealth. The possibilities for prosperity are endless, so let yourself be happy at the thought of what you might co-create. So yeah, it's kind of like this dreamy energy, like not a lot of limitation, only what you perceive to be limitations. And then there's a meditation here. Citrine is a stone that teaches us how to create abundance by taking action from an enthusiastic, heart-based place. What was I saying? This right here and this here. And that is what the Fool is all about. Starting a new journey. It helps us recognize the value in all that we have, teaching us gratitude and the lesson that true abundance is not about monetary worth. So yeah, there's a number of ways abundance can show up in our lives. It can be health, friendship, family, love, affection, time. There's any number of ways. Abundance comes in all forms. So be happy, acknowledge, express gratitude for all of them. It's only going to help you. And also citrine is a good stone for Leos, like for fire signs in general. So if you feel drawn to it, I would consider getting some citrine. All right, Leo, I'm going to leave your reading there. I really love this energy for you. I have the feeling that May could be a potentially beautiful month. I really hope you enjoy. I hope this reading was helpful. If you enjoyed it, the best way that you can support me is to like this video on YouTube, leave me a comment. And then in addition to that, if there's anyone you could think of that might be interested in my content, feel free to share it with them. And make sure you head over to my channel at Bright Soul Collective Tarot. You can take a look at my other videos. In addition to the monthly zodiac readings, I also have a few timeless pick a card readings that you can benefit from at any time. And I'm intending to put more out whenever I have a little bit more time. And make sure you subscribe and sign up for notifications so that you can stay up to date as my new videos are posted. And it's been an absolute pleasure reading for you. I'm very happy to see this energy for you. I'm excited to read for you for June and see what that might have in store. But in the meantime, I'm wishing you all the very best.